Here we go. Wonderful. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Platform OS Town Hall number 85. We have been working hard here at Platform OS, as you know, for many years. 7 years. Near Me Marketplace is very focused on marketplaces. Then a complete rebuild of the core infrastructure, the core application logic and hosting layers, rebranded as Platform OS. And as we've been spending the last 5 years building out Platform OS, we've been learning a lot. And in that time, we've obviously made some great connections with our strategic partners and channel partners and developer community. And that's been growing. We've been getting incredible feedback on how to build Platform OS and make it truly scalable, flexible, secure, all those good things that you love, and multi-cloud, of course, which we've achieved. And so what we decided is, based on so much feedback from our development community, to begin to allocate and focus a portion of our development time in building out some best practice templates that developers, such as yourselves, can use to bootstrap and fast track development on top of Platform OS. And so we have started with our e-commerce product marketplace. And as I mentioned, it's all built off the back of our real-world feedback from hundreds of successful startups and enterprise marketplace initiatives that we've done. And we have distilled a lot of that best practice to then begin to create some templates. We're going to start in today's release, the beta release, a minimum viable perfect product e-commerce template. And we're going to be adding over time additional templates for community marketplaces so that you could build your own version of Facebook for your clients, particularly enterprise clients who want to bring back their communities away from that other platform. Being able to also build service marketplaces like Thumbtack or Airtasker, TaskRabbit, those type of service-oriented marketplaces, and also hybrids, along with all of the other incredible things that we're seeing our channel partners build, like CBO and SiteGlide and so many others who are building full-blown digital experience platforms and e-commerce, other e-commerce solutions, as well as content management. And our marketplace module marketplace is really starting to grow, and we want to invest time ourselves to be able to give developers a better developer experience and onboarding experience as they join on and come on board with Platform OS. So what we will do is not bore you with lots of PowerPoints. We'll just highlight again where some of our expertise have come from. As many of you know, we're hosting and building the functionality behind the scenes for sites like DevMesh, Intel's version of Facebook, for the many thousands of developers that register with their Intel single sign-on to create a profile, follow other developers, showcase the projects that they're building, and so much other functionality, messaging, building communities around groups, etc. So community marketplaces, really important to be able to provide that template to the community in the coming months, which we will be doing. Hallmark, of course, you know, a subscription-based marketplace. Again, lots and lots of members, exclusive content, being able to buy, sell, and swap between each other to build up their collection of keepsake ornaments that they are passionately fans of within Hallmark. And then other service marketplaces like KiwiDo, where you can find a builder, a plumber, a butcher, baker, candlestick maker to come and do work that you need done from a professional sense right down to cleaning your house, and is very analogous to TaskRabbit and Airtasker. Of course, we have our darlings that are also built on Platform OS, such as the Vault, which is a dress rental marketplace, and I'm able to go and rent a dress, and the logistics of pickup, delivery, return, the split payments, etc., is all taken care of within the Platform OS solution. So what we're going to do today is actually look at a product marketplace template, which you will be able to access. We have a product marketplace template page that we will be sending out to everybody after this recording. Or you could go look at it now, I guess, and jump ahead of the whole demo. But the idea here is that we want you to be able to quickly deploy try it out, have a look at the code, and expand from there. So land and expand as quickly as possible, shorten your time to market, and maximize the profitability within your own projects, as well as the profitability of your clients, of course, because what you want to be able to do with this marketplace, and here's a quick overview of it. We'll just go through and look at the basics that comes out of the box. We want you to also be able to hit these sorts of performance scores. And this is the getmarketplace.co example site, which the team have built. And I've got to say to the team at Platform OS, what an incredible job they did. In fact, the MVP that they built for this originally was done in 3 days on top of Platform OS. Just the rudimentary functionality. Of course, they've been building new features and testing out different things, but a very quick turnaround, and out of the box, getting into the green with your Google Lighthouse scores. We'll come to that in a minute, but let's just focus on the overview. So in this example, I want to just highlight the way that you can create an instance and deploy very, very quickly. And we're going to do that in 2 different ways. We'll do a one-click deploy, and we'll also go and use the open source GitHub repository to pull down a copy of the code and deploy it using the Platform OS command line interface tool. Thankfully, I have with me on standby some of our team, so that if I don't quite get the syntax right, I'm sure somebody will message me and let me know what I'm doing wrong. So I don't expect there to be any problems, but even Bill Gates had a blue screen of death during a live demo. This is a live demo, no pre-recorded. Let's jump in and actually start to build out this marketplace. As I said, it's got the basic fundamentals. We are using search engine friendly URLs. It comes with all of the social sharing, open graph code already there for you. So if we view the page source, we'll go to this particular item, view the page source. Important things like Open Graph, which is dynamically being injected with the relevant content, all done as well. So along with the high scores in Google Lighthouse, along with being search engine friendly, you've also got the ability to list items, manage admin, and importantly, Stripe integration out of the box as well. So we're going to go over to our product marketplace page, and we're going to scroll down to look at what we do to get things started. And I do want to highlight that this is a beta product. It is open source. Getting your feedback will be really important. In fact, let's just highlight the feedback survey link down here. You'll see that when you deploy your own instance, you'll be able to use the feedback survey to give us feedback on things you don't like, you do like, things that you'd like to see in versions. In fact, you might want to even contribute. One of the great things is recently we had a guy called Carlos Wang. You might have seen him in Inner Circle. He took it upon himself to grab the open source version and build a ratings and reviews functionality in an afternoon, and add that to his version of the instance. So a person who's had no exposure to Platform OS, taking the code, adding functionality like ratings and reviews was really exciting for us. So let's go off now to the documentation site and look at how we can get started. You'll see that within documentation now, under the Get Started heading, there is a new From a Template area, because we'll be adding a lot more than just the initial first e-commerce template. So we want to add a lot of additions, as we talked about community. We want to add service marketplaces, enhance the blog module with lead capture forms, that type of thing. So go into the Platform OS marketplace template, and you can get started on this. But the first thing I want to do is show you how to do a one-click install. And then we'll come back to this and we'll use the clone repository option and do it from the command line. So firstly, I'm going to go off to Try Now. And you'll notice as well, for those who are new to Platform OS, if we go to OK, there we go. We'll start it fresh with Spring Dawn. And we'll preview. You can see there's Spring Dawn. It hasn't got anything on it. And now what I'm going to do is clone the marketplace repo onto my new instance. And clicking next, we'll also see that it's giving us all the extra instructions for installing the Platform OS CLI tool, just copy that. These are some prerequisites that I've gone ahead and already done. I can add my environment, variables, etc. And you'll have ones that are specific to you. So if we go now and refresh this page, boom, we now have a product marketplace. Behind the scenes, the deploy was happening. It was creating all of the database schema, the CRUD functions with the graph queries that we need to make the create, read, update, and delete features that are needed. You'll have access to all of that, all the liquid views, etc. All the compiled assets as well. So CSS, we're using Tailwind in this particular project, and we're ready to go. So it's a blank marketplace. And I need to start adding content to it. But what I'd like to do before I do that, because this is ready to go now, I can go and log in, sign up if I haven't already. In fact, I will quickly do that. I'll just say Adam Seller, not Peter Seller, Adam Seller, for anyone old in the audience that knows that reference. And let's go ahead, sign up. So within a second, I created an instance and deployed the product marketplace. And now I've registered as a user, and I can go ahead and I can start listing an item. And of course, all of this is available to us to customize. I'm going to add, I don't know, I think I'll add a piece of jewelry, but we'll do that in the next version because I want to show you how to do it from the CLI tool as well. So I've just created that particular marketplace, Spring Dawn, and it's ready to go. I can go ahead and play around with this, but we'll rewind, start from the start again, but this time we're going to do it from my partner portal. So let's finish and go to my partner portal as well, which is right here. Spring Dawn is there, but here's my instances. Of course, I've already signed up as a partner. That's why I've got access to my partner portal. There's my little initial lot of templates that have been added for demos. So all under my sub account. And I want to create a new instance. So rather than let the one-click install do that all for me, I'm going to create an instance. And we'll call this my Town Hall 85 MVP. I'm going to actually choose to use a production environment. The demo I just created a minute ago was done on staging. This time, I want to do it on production. And look, I get a free production billing plan. Sorry, that might not be available to you. But I'm going to create that now on the Oregon data center. And if we go into the Town Hall instance, we'll see that the URL has been created for me. And I'll go ahead and notice, again, we have our landing page for Town Hall 85 MVP. And of course, we've got our module marketplace over here. I could deploy the blog, I could deploy other functionality and augment that with my e-commerce site as well. So we're not necessarily, it's only one piece of functionality, only one template can be deployed to a site, as long as there's no conflicts with models and namespacing in some of the variables that you're creating, then all good to go. You can have multiple modules installed under the one instance. I'm going to copy and paste my environment variable little cheat sheet here and do something that's near and dear to my heart. Go to the command prompt. And I'm going to go into my little instances directory. Actually, I'm already there. I've got a whole bunch of them. I'm going to make a directory. We'll call this Town Hall 85, and we'll change into Town Hall 85 folder. And you can see it's empty. I'm just going to clear that screen. So I'm pasting now the command that was provided to me back over here on the partner portal to add the environment variable for my production site, which will link to this endpoint, this URL, and it's going to firstly verify my user account against my partner portal. Does Adam have access, does abroadway@gmail.com have access to this site? And if so, what are the rights, read only, read write, etc. And when I verify my account, it's going to put a token on this folder. And I can set up multiple variables, of course, production, staging, development, UAT, depending on what I'm deploying to. It will then put it to a a different endpoint associated. If we do a quick look at the folder, you'll see the .pos file is there. That's now containing my token to verify for my user account and that instance. Remember, it's user and instance specific. We don't have a generalized token for you as a user, which means if that leaks, somebody can access all your sites. It's user instance specific. All right, so I've got this empty folder. What to do next? Well, firstly, let's head back to our documentation and go to the Get Started area, to the Platform OS Marketplace template. And I'm just going to scroll down because I've already got CLI running. And number 4 is to clone the repository. Let's jump into that. And I'm just going to copy it and head back to my terminal, paste that in, and we're doing an initialization. We're doing a clone of this open source GitHub repo, which is up there ready for the taking, and boom, it's done. So now I've just pulled down all of the code related to this project into my folder. Now we're using NPM for our package management. As I've mentioned, we're using some other features to just make it easier for us, like Tailwind for CSS, and there's some other JavaScript library, very lightweight, also been added. And I'm going to now run my npm install, which will pull down all my, dependencies. And then I'm going to do a run build concatenated with that to do it all at once. So off it's going to pull down any dependencies. Once that's all finished, it's then going to run the build against this project and make sure that all my CSS and JavaScript and assets are ready to rock and roll. You'll notice when we did the deploy, the one-click deploy, and we got that fresh marketplace, it's grabbing it's copying and deploying a fully compiled, ready to go version. So you don't need to do an npm build on that. But I did in the command line and it's finished. So that's all ready to go. Now, what I want to do is go back to my partner portal, which is here, and bring up that page, Town Hall 85 MVP, blank. Back to my command line prompt, and we're going to do a pos CLI deploy to our production environment, and off it goes. Obviously, it's read the information in the .pos file. Is there a valid token for this user? Yes, there is, and it's going to deploy it to this URL. As it's doing this and sending up the payload, on the server side, whether it's a site instance that you've created on an AWS stack or a Google Cloud stack, of course, Azure is coming, I promise, it's unpacking everything, it's building the schema, it's putting the assets in place, it's doing any seeding of data if that's part of the import as well. So that took 21 seconds. And now if we go back and refresh the page, we have our Town Hall 85 MVP Marketplace on production. Let's just do something for fun. We'll run Skylight. Now, of course, Lighthouse. Of course, we don't have any images or anything like that on the page, so we're going to get some decent results. But horror of horrors, we get a bad score when it comes to SEO right now. Now, why is that? It's because it's on a system URL that we've generated, and we by default block any indexing. We don't want duplicate content issues. We don't want a development or even a production environment being indexed on a system URL at all. What I can do though, go back here and click into domains, add the domain. And when I add that domain name, an SSL certificate is automatically deployed to the load balancer, and we can go live, and your Google Lighthouse scores for this template will be 100 across the board. Maybe 99 in some cases, depending on what you've done to change it. But out of the box, you're going to get these great Google Lighthouse scores. So back to our MVP, and we want to start to do some things like list an item. But before we do so, we want to log in and register, actually. So let me go ahead and register, and it's going to be Adam Seller again, and use my trusty spammable email account. We'll put in a password, and we've signed up. And let's now list an item. I've come along here and I'm going to put in a beautiful ring, and I'm going to use my device to upload an image of this beautiful Tiffany ring. Who said that Clark never gets me anything? And it's also shiny, so we're going to put a description. As you all know, you've got full control over this. The schema was built, all the forms are here. You can go crazy on all the configuration. We're going to go into that admin area in a minute too, and I just want to point out where you can do some changes. But the whole objective here is just to get the basics in place. Let's actually add one more image. I'm going to do another camera shot. Let's just see the green screen working there. But I want, there's that ring. Take a photo. Of course, mobile optimized, and your camera and your phone will work well. So for those sorts of marketplaces that need a mobile friendly user experience, that's all going to be well documented in the code. And I'm going to submit this now. And boom, we have our ring. We have our ring there too. We've got a listing. This is awesome. It knows I'm the logged in person, so I could edit this item. I can't buy it because I'm also the person who added the item. So there's some logic in there that we've added just to make some of the basic workflows and user experiences kind of logical. And now I'll go back to the main page. I've only got one item here. So what the team have also done is provided some seed data. And why this is a useful example is I'm going to go into my little cheat sheet here. Hey, look, Pavel, I remembered all these things all by myself. Are you proud of me? All right, so let's go off to our command line prompt. And as I said, there's some seed data that's been provided. Let's look at that, and we can go into the seed directory. There's a zip file. We want to use that and seed this marketplace with a whole bunch of data. Why do we do that? To give you a real world example of how import can work. And of course, for so many of our channel partners and developers that are migrating sites off of Magento and off of Shopify, we are using Liquid too. You might have 100,000 or 1 million SKUs that you want to import. And so doing that, you want to use our example. So let's go ahead and just paste the data import into my production environment using this path and tell the system it's a zip file. So it needs to also unzip it, grab the CSV, import it against the database models. And then also if there's images attached, hopefully link all those up. So let's give that a try. It's going to send the data up. I think this is what, 2 terabytes of data, Derek. We wanted to have 100 million records here to show you the speed of search. It didn't? Okay, maybe there's only a few hundred. So that's done. We didn't want to be here all day. Let's go back to the website and refresh it. So suddenly we have data seeded within the database as well. And I can go off now and search based on categories because they've also got category information. Let's look at price highest first and search. Boom, that's highest to lowest. In fact, we'll go back up here and we'll look at what about by lowest first. So things like category searching, price. We'll look at keyword. Let me look to see if choker will work. Actually, I haven't tried this before, so who knows? Oh, it does. So it's indexed everything properly as well after it imported. This is too good to be true. So we've got some great indexing going on there, and there's quite a bit of data that has imported. What else do we need to do? Well, I mentioned that we needed to go in and configure some things. So setting up the instance took literally no time at all. Importing some data from a system that we're migrating off of and onto Platform OS. You can jump into the code and play with that. Let's in fact bring up our code editor. I like to use my trusty Visual Studio Code, and you can see everything is available to us. We can go into our models. There's our schema. We can check out our graph queries and mutations. We can look at things like all our views and partials and liquid layouts, etc. And there's the seed data folder, but also test scripts. You know that we're all very big on creating test-driven stuff. We've even built some example test scripts for you. For those of you who are watching the video, please use documentation to look at how we went about setting up our QA process, how we build our QA process, how we do end-to-end testing, and what tools we use. You don't have to use them. You can use whatever test software you like. But what we did want to do is make sure that in our templates that we'll be building out, including our e-commerce template, this first one, that we do have some test scripts to highlight to you all. So we have our code, which I just showed you, and we have our site, and we've got some imported data, and I'm going to now log out because there's some other important things that we want to be able to do. So I'm going to go and log in and register again, but this time let's register as the admin user and admin@example.com. Let's see what happens. We now have an extra thing here called admin. And as the marketplace owner, my admin will show me some cool things like income and how many users and how many items were imported, 3,190. And how many orders? None yet. But I can go and look at who the users are and what orders have taken place and what categories exist. Remember, we also want to have search engine friendly URLs. All that's taken care of based on the category names as well. Activities. So we're logging everything as an activity so that the admin can see what's going on, but also within the code, you can use activities to trigger events. So it's an event-based trigger to do something. Who knows what? You invent it and add value to the example we have here. Now, we're not going to go ahead and set up Stripe because there's no point. It's actually going to be longer than the demo to show you how to set up things, to set up the marketplace. But we have documented the point of what you need to do to create a test Stripe Connect account so that you can actually begin testing the checkout process with a real Stripe account using test credit card credentials, etc., to see how that you can do split payments in a marketplace context. So go back to the documentation for that information. Cole, I just wanted to give a shout out. I've been talking for 25 minutes or so. Are we all okay? Everyone's still there? I haven't dropped off? You can unmute yourself, and because I can't see any screens.
Yeah, no, we're all good. We're all good.
All good?
Yeah,
good. Just thought I'd check in. It would be terrible if I turned around and went to ask questions and actually my internet dropped off 15 minutes ago. All right, thanks for that. All right, so let's go back to our MVP marketplace and let's buy something, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and see if I can buy this. I probably can because I didn't add the item. That was part of that import. So let's go and check out, and we've got checkout functionality. If we paid online, of course, using the Stripe Connect setup that we would have done if I was you, but I'm not, I'm me, and I wanted to fast track this demo. I didn't set it up. We'd have Stripe integration working. Otherwise, I can just say, hey, I'm paying for that. Now, what rules happen there is up to you. But if we now look at the dashboard, actually at the admin, we can start to see that things are happening. We've got an order that's taken place. And these are just some rudimentary dashboard elements that have been added to the code, again, to provide developers with a way for yourselves to augment the solution. Now, what do we want to do next? We've already gone through the fact that, yes, this is using search engine friendly URLs. We do the open graph injection there so that when we paste this and share it in Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever else, it's going to do all that nice stuff for us. We know that the Lighthouse scores are high. And really, at this point, after using our favorite code editor to go in and make some changes, we can go live. And that's simply a matter of just going back to that instance, as we see, Town Hall 85 MVP, and clicking on domains, adding the domain. Everything behind the scenes is taken care of. Our incredible DevOps team has automated this for use on AWS, Google Cloud, other infrastructure providers as well, so that when you go and add the DNS, the SSL certificate's deployed to the load balancer and you can go live. Done. So what you would want to then do is probably move on to the next template and deploy that and do a lot more in a lot less time when it comes to builds on Platform OS. So we're very excited about this template. I'm going to just highlight a couple of other cool things. I'd like to just show you, for those who aren't familiar with it, using our GUI serve tool. And I'm going to go into my terminal. And of course, I'm in the folder, Town Hall 85, which is linked for my production environment, linked to that particular site that we're playing around with. And we'll go off and just hit enter, because what it's going to do now is set up my little local service on that port so that I can now go ahead and connect directly to that site. And you'll see there's my models, the scheme of them. Let's take a look at orders. There's an order there. Of course there is, because I ordered something, remember? Let's go back and take a look at items. There should be a bunch, and there is. Look at them all the items that we imported. So using the GUI serve feature, we can also access the models. We can access the content inside the models, and then we can, of course, use GraphQL to go in, pull down our schema for this instance, and start doing cool things like, let's say I wanted to create a new query or mutation. I could say I want this new query to relate to my users, and I want to display the first name. And now let's run that query. Which one? I think it's my query 2. And there we go. We get that back. So all of this available for you to download from, if I can find it, from our documentation site, which will help you all to grab a free copy of our open source marketplace template, play around with it. Remember, the feedback is also down here. So if I need to, or you need to tell us what you think and feel about it and what you'd like to improve, please feel free to add to that. Another mechanism for giving us feedback, one that I personally love, and let's just go and refresh the page that I want. Here it is. Here it is. Feedback, please. Let me just refresh this page. Tell us what you think through the survey, but also add your thoughts on GitHub. And you can also contact us and set up a call directly. You might have some very specific needs that you want added to the template and want to talk to somebody. We'd love to talk to you. And of course, as I said, use the GitHub feedback mechanism as well. If you're not too shy and you want to give us some critique on our approach, but also wanted to see some of your own code possibly reviewed and push a pull request through, we'll review the code as we've done with other developers. I mentioned Carlos Wang, who in an afternoon built a ratings and review module that plugged into this initial demo site as well. So I'm going to now open it up to questions as I head back to the page that I want to be on, which is over here or here or here. It's somewhere. Where is it? Oh, you know where it is? That's right. I think I clicked a button and I ended up in GitHub. So let's just go back to there. That's what I was looking for. So come along also, check out the product marketplace template page. I'm just going to zoom in there. And what we're able to have you go through is try it out for free. We've got a special promotion that we're also going to be sending out to our channel partners. This will be a special massive discount for those channel partners and developers building on the platform. So look out for that special promo that's going to be sent out. It's going to be a 75% off for a marketplace that you build on Platform OS. And there's really no risk in doing that. You simply reserve your interest to grab a plan and to reserve that at a massive discount. This will be a limited time. And again, no obligation. You're just putting your hand up and getting your name in the queue so that you can then take advantage of this offer. Of course, strictly for channel partners who are building for their clients on Platform OS. And we will follow up with you directly for those who click on the reserve button to take advantage of it. All right, back to my screen here so I can see all of your faces, and we'll stop sharing. I want to open it up to questions now. Big shout out to the team. This is all them. I'm just the person doing a bit of a demo and a walkthrough. I have to say our core team have been working on some pretty amazing stuff, and in particular we've got a lot of already great feedback from people, and we just would love to get more so that we can keep refining, keep building out the next batch of templates that will help fast track developers and reducing time to market. Questions, thoughts, feedback? Oh, Colin, you can probably unmute people too if maybe that's a problem. Oh, chat, there we go. Chat's telling us something. Cole, could you unmute just so I know that I'm hearing somebody?
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Okay. Yeah, so Scott says, looks awesome. I believe people might be able to unmute themselves. Or do I have to allow?
Yeah,
Let
maybe
me
not.
see if I can.
Yeah, people should be able to unmute themselves.
Great.
Sure.
Stunned silence. Clark, what did I miss, mate? Clark put a lot of coordination behind this. I've got to give him a big kudos. He even set up a marketplace, and he's non-technical, like we're saying. He knows how to use Google and stuff, but he actually built and deployed a couple of marketplaces. What was your record time? 3.5 minutes, Clark?
That was my time for someone that has never used Terminal before.
Well done. I was impressed. Even if it took an hour and a half because of loading up some prerequisites, getting NPM set up, etc., and getting familiar with the environment, it's still pretty cool.
We've got a question from Stephen. We built a directory type site on WordPress with the view of turning it into a marketplace at some point. This looks great. Oh, not so much a question, but just a comment.
Right. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's good. Definitely the case, Stephen. As you saw, this is very product centric, but how you apply and create your schema specific to an industry vertical, I think that's going to allow you to do exactly what you've suggested. And you may even pay for listings of those items, charge for listings. So rather than check out to buy that thing, maybe it's check out to add that thing. If it's a directory listing, you just flip the shopping cart around. And this is recorded, Barbara, so you'll be able to get onto it. Any other questions, thoughts? We've obviously sent Marty to sleep, so he's snoring in the background.
Not really. I'm still very awake.
Good effort for staying up till nearly 2 o'clock your time. All right. Well, I think I will just head back to the screen share just so that, oh no, I already am sharing the screen. I've just got my little Zoom overlays going on here. So head on over to Product Marketplace Template on Platform OS, or if you're already developing on Platform OS, you have our great Get Started guide, which will help you to deploy an instance and seed it with data. Yeah.
Adam, why don't you just paste that link into the chat so people can click on it right now?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do that. That's good idea. And for those watching the video, of course, just head over to documentation.platformos.com and click on Get Started, and you'll see on the left-hand side the marketplace template and the open source GitHub link for you to pull down to a directory and then set up an instance and deploy it onto your Platform OS powered site. So thank you everybody for a fantastic, vigorous conversation. I know it was very one way, and I hope you got a lot out of it. There is the the landing page here as well that will talk about the developer success templates that we're going to be continually investing in. Of course, we're focused on best practice, getting the basics in place so that developers such as yourselves can do the value add, to use whatever frameworks you want to on the top. Maybe you want to use React or Angular or Vue or Nuxt or raw CSS and HTML and JavaScript that you've created. No frameworks whatsoever. In fact, you don't need to use a package manager if you don't want to. It really depends on your workflow for developing. Go into Notepad, make some code changes, turn on sync so you can sync your folder. As you make changes, it will automatically sync those changes and refresh. Stephen has asked, where do we reserve? I'm glad you asked. Go ahead to this site, the one that I've got up here, this URL. And let me just paste that to everyone. I sent it out there. Marketplace, product marketplace template. There's hyphens in between market, hyphen, marketplace, hyphen, template. And you'll be able to go ahead and reserve. Boom. That will set up the instance. You'll go through the process, but we'll know that it was you. So it'll be linked to your partner portal. And if it's a new partner portal you've set up based on that email address, that will be linked back to the offer and we will reserve your spot. So please go ahead and do that right now.